Good day, and it is the month of May 2017. How time flies indeed. So, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is Dark Shooter Month has been a success so far. The bad news is I ran out of time to actually complete said Dark Shooter Month in the month of April. The two reviews that I did not finish, Quake 4 and Prey, are actually going to be pushed over to June. This month, the month of May, is going to be World War II Shooter Month, and we've got 4 games lined up. These 4 games are going to be a lot easier to review than Prey and Quake 4 and all the other Dark Shooter games. Why? Because these games, while good, aren't really on the same level as, Doom 3, Resurrection of Evil, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and Quake and Prey. Those games I really want to do justice. And also, in Dark Shooter Month, I had a little bit of writer's block where I couldn't get the scripts quite right. Doom 3 Resurrection of Evil had so many bloody rewrites, it's not even funny. So, that being said, what shooters are going to be reviewed in World War II Shooter Month? Well, we of course have Call of Duty 2. We also have Call of Duty World at War. And then I was going to review Brothers in Arms, The Road to Hill 30. However, it doesn't work. I have an old retail copy I got at a Goodwill, and the game won't launch. So I need to get the Steam version, and yeah, I'm going to wait till that's like $1 on a Steam sale. So instead, I decided to do Medal of Honor Airborne. I actually almost called it Medal of Honor Allied Assault Airborne, which would actually sound cool. It would be a very long title. Medal of Honor Airborne is a game that I kind of dismissed back, well, I did. I dismissed back in the day because I thought, it's going to be some sort of modern crap. It's not. When I finally played it, I was, to say the least, very pleasantly surprised. Here's a spoiler alert. The game is really, really good. It came out in 2007, so it was like right on the cusp of modern gaming and classic good gaming. It's a classic good game in many respects. There's no regenerative health. You got the little health squares that we see even to this day. Where, like, if you lose a health square, you have to go find, like, a med pack and it'll refill it. Which, is really quite a cool concept all around. I mean, it's the best way you can get regenerative health. So that's really cool. The weapons are really cool in the game. The whole thing where you dropped out of an airplane and you can kind of land wherever you want, that's cool. The levels are much wider open than I thought they would be. The game isn't that historically accurate, but it's a fun game nonetheless. Just call it Medal of Honor Wolfenstein, and you can pretty much... I don't think you can do that, but Medal of Honor Wolfenstein is probably the best way to call it. It's a fun game. It's really good. It's a great World War II shooter. And then the last but not least, we're going to be reviewing Medal of Honor 1. So it's almost like I planned it that way. 2 CODs and 2 Medal of Honors. Aren't I amazing? That being said, those will be our 4 reviews for the month. Now, I was originally going to review 2 World War II movies and a World War II book. Yeah, I'm canceling that just because I'm not going to have enough time for that. I ain't got time for that. There's still going to be book reviews this month, but they're going to be unrelated to World War II. If you check the Let's Play channel, all of the Return to Castle Wolfensteins have been recorded. I completed the game about a week ago. I just kind of mass recorded it all. That was kind of tough, but I really got into the game, so that worked. One thing that's kind of annoying, though, on my end, on the production front, is the fact that since I got the RX 480, I can't really record that much stuff with Fraps anymore, which is really annoying. I can record it, but it doesn't record it well. That's the problem when you got new hardware. It's getting all the old software to work with it, and Fraps doesn't really like the RX 480 all that much. I can't record a lot of stuff at 60 frames, which really is annoying. I can find ways to tweak the games to make it run at that, like Return to Castle Wolfenstein. That game, I had to tweak that to make it actually work. So that's really annoying that I can't do that. I guess if I was using Crimson Relive, it would work fine, but I can't get Crimson Relive to install. I have no idea. I'm going to be working on trying to get that to actually function, but it's really annoying that that's the case. Like, I can't even record Doom. I can't record it at all, either with Vulkan or with OpenGL. OpenGL just doesn't work. It's really an annoying conundrum there. What's interesting is I've used several different recorders. Used Fraps, which I've used for years. It works some of the time, but not all the time. I tried using DX Story, and it does the exact same thing. I got DX Story back in 2014, and I used it for a Let's Play that's no longer up, and it worked pretty well, but it was a little more complex than I wanted. Fraps is hit record and it goes, and that's fine. But the X story doesn't do any better than Fraps. The interesting thing is, I have found a way to actually record stuff without Crimson Real Life, and that is OBS. OBS is free. They released, or someone released, a AMD patch for it where you can do AMD hardware encoding, which is very good. And I actually can record games that, with Fraps, was giving me 40 frames. These are old games. Medal of Honor Airborne is a good example. I was getting, less than 60 frames. It was constantly dipping. Whereas with OBS, it works fine. Call of Duty 2 was giving me the same thing. Call of Duty 2, is a very old game, and I was getting 40 frames. That was it. OBS worked just fine. And OBS is free, so there's that. So yeah, that's really annoying. I've got to work on that. One thing I also need to replace, I think, and I'm not actually I'm gonna test it at some point in the next couple of months. I don't want to do it because it's gonna be really difficult. But I think what's giving me the pauses in the Let's Plays is actually the motherboard. There's something wrong with the SATA controller. I'm not sure, and until I'm sure, I'm not going to replace any more components on that PC. Because every time I've tried to fix it to where it doesn't give me the pauses, where Fraps actually works, it hasn't fixed it. So I honestly think it's going to just be it's software problems interfacing with the new hardware, which I guess always happens. You get some new piece of hardware, the software doesn't like it. One thing that's really annoying though, like the most annoying thing of all, is the very fact that Wolfenstein New Order. I was going to record some of that a few days ago. I was able to record it perfectly with my old Asus 7770. That's an ATI Radeon card that I used since 2012. It died in 2015. I was able to record that quite easily with that card. With the new RX 480, I cannot record Wolfenstein New Order with Fraps. It dips down to 10 frames. I don't know why. Wolfenstein New Order also doesn't run very well either. I got to tweak that bloody game. I've always heard that like AMD cards, it's kind of the luck of the draw with those. Sometimes they'll work well, sometimes they won't. I guess I got the bad draw. I know the RX 480 is a good card. I know that. It came highly recommended, which is why I bought it. It's just, I'm having so many problems with old games. What's funny is I can play just about any game imaginable. It's just actually recording is the difficult part. Like Doom, I can play with the Vulkan API, maxed out, 60 frames per second all throughout. Even a level that with the old 760, with settings turned down, I was getting like 20 frames. It's a really good card. It's just being able to use it to record videos is the difficult part. So let's see. Now, after World War II Shooter Month and after finishing up Dark Shooter Month, what we're going to see is some often requested reviews done. I'm going to do sort of a Half-Life months. I'm basically going to just, in one fell swoop, get all the Half-Lives done. Because I have finished the 2 Half-Life expansions, Opposing Force and Blue Shift. I absolutely loved both of those, actually. I played those co-op. Once again, I like the games. Don't get on me for not liking it the way you like it. So yeah, love those 2 expansions. Opposing Force, absolutely perfection. It's great. Half-Life 2 I just finished in April. Half-Life 2 is an interesting thing. I think it's going to be one of my more divisive reviews because I liked Half-Life 2, but I didn't like it as much as Half-Life 1. I know that's like heresy there, but the thing is, I want to stress, because I know I'm going to get so many negative comments. I like Half-Life 2, I just don't feel it's quite as good as Half-Life 1. Like the alien variety's down, you're often just fighting, civil protection, and the level design is kind of dull. Now, there are some open world segments which were really cool, but I really liked the science environment of Black Mesa. I really, really liked the level design in that game. And Half-Life 2, towards the end, it gets a lot better, but it just doesn't feel as good as Half-Life 1. Half-Life 2, it's not a bad sequel, but I think this is how people feel about Doom 3. It's too different in some respects. Whereas Doom 3 I liked, Half-Life 2 I liked, but I just don't like it as much as Half-Life 1. I have not finished Half-Life 2 Episode 1 or Half-Life 2 Episode 2. I'm working on Half-Life 2 Episode 1. Half-Life 2 Episode 1 so far is pretty good. I feel it's a little too scripted, though. It's just a little too scripted here and there. The story's good, though. But I think that really is one of the big problems with Half-Life 2. It's a little too scripted. It's a little too, hurry up and wait. When you finally get to play the game, it's a lot of fun. And while I'm actually thinking about it, I'm thinking about there are some really cool moments in that game. There's some really cool boss fights, actually. The gravity gun's a cool weapon. I still like the grabber a little more, though. But Half-Life 2, I enjoyed it immensely, but just not as much as Half-Life 1. You can, I guess you'll crucify me over, well, you didn't like Half-Life 2 like everyone else does. It's like, well, I still liked it. Leave it alone. So what about after the Half-Life reviews? Because I'm going to review Half-Life 1's expansions, Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and Half-Life 2 Episode 2. After that, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to review after that, but those have been some of the most requested reviews I've ever got, and I'm definitely going to enjoy playing through those again for the channel. But still, Half-Life 2 is a good game, but I think it might be one of those games that's a little overhyped. It's just, Half-Life 1 is just so good. I mean, that level design and the gameplay was just amazing. The thing is, I don't feel bad about missing out on it, because I got a really cool game to play in the modern era. And I have been playing Half-Life 2 co-op. Once again, that's the only way I would be able to play it, because I've never been able to play it by myself. I don't know why. So long as I play it, isn't that good enough? Alright, so moving on to another topic that is something that I've been asked about a great deal. What do I think about Call of Duty World War II? Call of Duty World War II is interesting. You see, now they're going back to their roots, which I think is very good. But then again, I'm not sure how the game's going to actually turn out. And that's one of the big problems, is Call of Duty World War II just going to be, Modern Warfare, but with World War II graphics? The last good Call of Duty World War II game was the last one that Treyarch put out, which is World at War, which is one I'm going to review. World at War is actually really good. I got that for the Xbox years ago. We're going to be reviewing the PC version, but I had the Xbox version. It had a co-op campaign, and it was fun co-op. It was really bloody fun co-op. And it's like, why exactly do COD games not have co-op campaigns? When you play COD, cooperatively, it's a lot of fun. I loved the Spec Ops missions in Modern Warfare 2 and 3. I love those, actually, because the thing about COD is, they're not really anything special compared to other PC games, but if your friends only have Xboxes and Xbox Live, then, it's something you guys can all play. And that's what I did back in the day. I did that with Call of Duty World at War. I did that with Modern Warfare 2 and 3. And I loved it. World at War is a really good game. So, really, if all... whoever's making the COD games now, I forget who, I think it's like Sledgehammer Games. If all they do is just make World at War again, I'll be happy. If they just do that, that'll be great. The big problem with modern-day Kabadoobie games, and this is the thing I can't stress enough, and I'm going to talk about it in the Kabadoobie reviews, is they're too scripted. That's a big problem with a lot of modern-day games, is they're just too scripted. Their gameplay isn't bad. It's just basic, mindless fun, but they don't let you play. That was a big problem with Duke Nukem forever. If Duke Nukem just let you play the bloody game, it would be fun enough. I mean, yeah, regenerative health, 2-weapon rule, dumb AI, whatever. It'd still be fun. Because they can make a game feel really epic, but they don't let you play it. Like Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. I like those games. But, after Modern Warfare 1, and even in Modern Warfare 1, there's too much of it. There's so much scripting. It's like, yeah, I get to play for 5 minutes, and then here's a whole scripted segment, here's some cutscenes and all the rest. I like cutscenes well enough, but you gotta give me some gameplay. World at War is a good example of, they let you play the bloody game. World at War, you have this little, cutscene when it starts up, and then boom, you're automatically shooting the enemy, which is really, really good. That is what it's supposed to be. Call of Duty 2, you got a annoying training segment, but actually it's kind of funny at times. And then boom, you're right in the thick of it. Medal of Honor, you can skip the tutorial altogether and right in the thick of it. And that's the thing. That's what you need to be able to go from start the game to play really quickly, because it's when you first play the game, of course you want to look at the story, but if you've already seen the story and you already know what's going on, and let me play the bloody game, please. I already know what's going on. I just want to shoot some driblets. That's really the big thing. If Call of Duty World War II is less scripted, if it, lets you play the game, I will be very happy. If I can press ESC 2 times and I'm right in the thick of it, I will call it the best game ever. I have not pre-ordered it. If you guys want to donate to the channel, I won't complain, because $60 is not cheap, and I got hit hard by that Apocalypse. There we go. And also, I want to, once again, I have to plug Patreon, because the thing is, you know, I actually did use a lot of that YouTube ad revenue to put it back into the channel. I mean, you got the lighting here, and you got the condenser mic. So, since I'm not getting that much anymore, you know, any support at all on Patreon would be greatly appreciated, because it actually is used for the channel. I'm not buying it, using it to, like, go and buy donuts and cakes, you know. It actually is used for a legitimate purpose. Alright, well, I think I've rambled enough. Well, actually, can I ever truly ramble enough? Also, on a completely unrelated note, Boba Fett shirt. Got that for 20... No, it wasn't 20 bucks. I got that for 10 bucks. Who would spend $20 on a shirt? That's my question. Yeah, General, we're going to give you all the Patreon money. You're going to buy $20 t-shirts with Boba Fett on it. No, this was actually on clearance. And it was actually only 10 bucks. It was the last one they had. It's a really neat shirt. Big fan of little shirts like that. But I'm not somebody who just goes out and buys $20 shirts. In fact, it'd be absolutely painful to buy a $20 shirt. But yeah. And no, I'm not going to use the Patreon money on Starbucks coffees either. So, in any event, I'm GeneralLotz, wishing you good $20 t-shirts, good $50 cups of coffee, or whatever makes you happy.